Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to the Sonic X Shadow Generations playthrough. I know I streamed part 1, and I said I was going to stream part 2, but at the end of the day, I think just recording post-commentary is a lot better. I'm going to do something a bit special for this one, and I think I'm going to be the first person on YouTube to actually do it. Now, will I be the first person to post it? I don't think so. And what this is me taking the game in Japanese and translating it as close to literally as possible. There are some things that can't be translated to English because of slang, and it sounds really, really weird. And that's probably going to be the only time I'll use localization. But for the most part, this is going to be a pretty direct translation. Very similar to if a machine did it, except machines make more mistakes, and I actually can speak Japanese, so I decided to do it myself and see how to do it and what these localizers are always speaking about. Because turns out, I was off a little bit. There are actually some good things that the localizers do, but they are quite few and far between. Not always. Many times the modern English localizer will butcher a story. I didn't try to do that. I tried to stay as close as possible. Alright, Kingdom Valley. Let's see it. Let's see how these guys try to remake the pinnacle of gaming. What I'm doing here is I'm turning off the deceleration so that when the deceleration becomes 0, you'll realize that you get more fluid movement. I tested the stream with deceleration 100 to get it closer to 06, but this game, the level design is not like 06, so I decided to go and keep a more free-flowing. Now, I will note that at the time of recording this, which was 2 weeks ago at this point when I'm recording the commentary, I didn't know about the speed tricks such as the sorry about that, my dentist called me, and to explain what's going on, I was originally going to start a new save file from this point. However, given I haven't played a video game in 2 weeks, I knew I would never finish the game otherwise, so I decided to just continue from where the stream left off and call this the super direct, accurate translation of the Japanese text, because as much as I praised Ian Flynn in Frontiers, mostly because I was so sick of Pontaff, now that I've had the chance to digest the script over the span of a year, I want to say, maybe a bit more, I can say that there are a lot of faults. I've also played Frontiers with Japanese script, and the Japanese script is a lot better. Now, I know it's a bit unreasonable to say this, but the truth is I decided to learn Japanese so that I could avoid all of the localizers. I think that's a bit overkill for most people, and most people who are reasonable do not have time or the patience to do such a thing. So I decided to do it myself and have it be shown here for the lot of you. Now, I didn't translate every single thing because a lot of things are just repeated and it's just a pain in the ass to edit it. However, all of the voiced dialogue is translated for you. And I gotta say, Kingdom Valley, the pinnacle of all video games in history. They didn't surpass it, but man, they did a good job. Genuinely, I think they did a really good job. And I have to give them credit. These missions, I must say, are probably better than the Generations missions, the original Generations. They're not, the best in the world, but I mean, maybe it's because I haven't played this enough. It probably is because I've only played this game for about 2 hours and 30 minutes total. I just don't think this game controls as well as Frontiers. I think that Frontiers, with the sliders, just gave you more freedom. Now, I get that because this is a level game as opposed to an open zone game, even though Frontiers did have levels. They gave a control that's fine-tuned for the game, and maybe I just need to learn the level design, which is what I was hypothesizing during the live stream. But now that I've seen the movement tech, like the aerial chaos spear, I must say I'm very excited for the hard mode. I don't know if I'm going to record the hard mode. It might just be on my own time. As you saw there, the white space Modoru thing says it returned to white space, but you already saw that I translated it earlier, so it doesn't make sense to translate it again because I assume you are smart enough to remember everything you have. Now, my thoughts on white space is because of the lack of the rail launch and my ignorance towards the aerial chaos spear, I didn't have as much fun with it as I did the Frontiers open zone. But once again, this game is a lot shorter. You can beat this game in 3.5 hours like I did. Okay, I really did. It's not a very long game. Now, I know that 100% is a lot longer, and I was going to play through the remaster of Gens, but the truth is I kind of don't want to. I heard the English script and it sounds bad. I don't know. It's not even the censorship that pisses me off. Okay, it does piss me off, but that's not the worst part. It's just that the actors don't sound like they're putting their effort into it. It sounds half-assed. Now, this is very mean to say in some regard, because Mike Pollock, I know that man can voice act very well. Okay? I've seen him in the other Sonic games, but even he sounds odd. Colleen, I don't know what happened to Colleen in this game. Colleen is not hitting it in this game. I really hope that she does better in the movies, because if she's in the movies, that better be good. Okay, 100 has better be good. Alright, Sunset Heights missions. So we just saw them remake some of the missions for the Pinnacle of Gaming. Let's see how they tackle missions for... But what do you call the opposite of the Pinnacle? The Depths of Gaming? Well, no, because that at least sounds intricate. For one of the most linear... I guess it's Sonic's attempts at a Sony movie game. It's like, it's more cutscene than gameplay, it feels. And it's a third-person action game. However, Forces did have a lot of 2D, so I can't even call it a movie game. I don't know how to describe Forces. I guess it's an on-rails game that tries to control like a Boost era game. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of these missions are actually really easy. I did hear from the other Sonic tubers like Jaden TV and Premier de Remy and Unleashed that the challenges are far better, and I really hope they are. Because I was super excited. I got this game early, I played it early, I played on stream, and I'm just having a really fun time. Now, how do I explain this? I will say that a lot of the level design in this game is kind of weird. Because on one hand, it's far better than Pontac era level design besides the original gens. Although this does control better than original gens, so that's more of a level design thing. Because the level design of original gens is really good, but it's because it was so fine-tuned to the control scheme. If we put the gens levels in this game, I don't think they would work as well. But, you know, for colors, for Boom, and for Lost World, I'd rather take these levels over any of those. Now, of the Ian Flynn era writing games, so that would be Dream Team, Frontiers, and this one, I don't know. Between the white space, I gotta tell you, man, and the open zone, I just think the open zone is more fun, especially the downloadable stuff. You know, the extra updates with towers. Oh my goodness, those towers were so fun. Those live streams, I did like 20 hours of live streams on extreme difficulty, man. I know that, you know, some people will call it blasphemy because a lot of people are saying that this is much better than Frontiers. Personally, I don't think so, but, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I just really liked Frontiers. I think the combat in Frontiers is better than in this game, although I will say that this game has some of the cooler powers. I think that Sonic in Frontiers is just more fun to control. Level design, so we're going to be tackling the cyberspace of Frontiers, the Dream Team game, and this game takes the cake. 100% it takes the damn cake. It's a lot better. Okay? This game, in terms of the pure level-to-level sections, has the best levels. They remade the Pinnacle of Gaming. For me, it's Kingdom Valley. For the other Sonic tubers, some would say the Rail Canyon is the Pinnacle of Gaming. I like Rail Canyon, I love Sonic Heroes, I just prefer 06. But you know, Heroes is a great game. Now, I am a bit disappointed that we didn't have a Shadow 05 level in this game. I guess you could say Space Colony Arc, but it was just called The Arc in Shadow, and I'm pretty sure that the Arc level should have taken place after Rail Canyon, if we were being honest. So I'm still gonna assume that's an SA2 level. I guess you could count it as a Shadow level, it just doesn't feel right because of the placement. What I don't understand is why they didn't put Westopolis in this game. You know, Shadow's Green Hill. Okay, all the bitching I did about Green Hill, I would rather play Westopolis reimaginings 10 times than Green Hill reimaginings. Because Westopolis was a cool looking game, looking level. Okay? And like I called it before, I think that them trying to remake the pinnacle of gaming, so the adventure era Sonic games in total, it's just... I love this new team, but I don't think they're that good. I still think that the adventure era Sonic team is the representative of the best video games ever made. This is just my opinion, okay? For 3D platformers. I'm not saying of all genres, because that's not true. But of 3D platforming genre, I genuinely believe that the 3D adventure style Sonic games, meaning SA1 all the way to 06, are the best platformers ever made. Heroes is fire, Adventure 1 is fire, Adventure 2 is fire. Controversial take, I think Shadow the Hedgehog is fire, and 06 is my favorite game of all time. Of all the games. I just love the level design, I love how it controls. I know it's a bit of a learning curve compared to the other games, but when you understand how to control 06, man, it's so fire. Now, Sunset Heights, I must admit, when I did the Forces playthrough, I did not care. I don't think that myself nor Brielle, who was my co-host during that playthrough, even talked about the game, to my knowledge. And worse, I think one of our videos got age restricted. Yeah, I did. I made a community post about it. It was that series. So, it's on Rumble if you want to watch it, although I don't really recommend you do it because we spent that entire episode talking about adult proclivities, and they're not related to the game at all. Let's just say that because of that, it was one of the most tonally inconsistent episodes of my recording channel, to the point where even I wouldn't do it. I would probably never have a video like that again. Not because, you know, YouTube would ban it, but because it's just not the kind of content I want to make. Now, Sunset Heights and Kingdom Valley are really good levels to remake. Okay, I'll give them credit. Okay, this is Sunset Heights. Definitely, this game, Sunset Heights, is far better than the Forces one, without a doubt. But the Kingdom Valley, I don't know, man. It's just like all the 3 Kingdom Valleys for Sonic Shadow and Silver, and the hard mode for Sonic Shadow and Silver, and the very hard mode for Sonic Shadow and Silver. Considering I think that Sonic Very Hard Mode Kingdom Valley is the pinnacle of 3D platforming level design, I think my bias is gonna prevent me from seeing this one too objectively. Maybe people will say that, you know, this was better because it's not glitchy as fuck, but you know. If you're like me and you play 06 for almost 2 decades at this point, the glitches are barely noticeable anymore. And then, thanks to emulators now, where we can mod all the patches, I'm pretty sure that my PC version of 06, my little emulator on Zinnia, with some of the mods installed, like putting the Lightspeed Dash on Y instead of X, or getting rid of the nut that's getting stuck on wall. Same goes for Rouge. I honestly think we've made a full replacement for 06. And yes, I finally got the DLC to work on my emulator as well. So I have no need for my PS3 or my Xbox 360 versions of 06, where I have all the DLC for both, because that's how much I like the game. But there's just something nostalgic about, you know, booting up the Xbox and playing it on original hardware. So it's not a complete replacement for me, but if I was to recommend it to anyone, I would. Now, here we have a boss fight. And in this boss fight, to some people, this is the best boss fight in the game. Personally, I had more fun with the Mephiles boss fight because it felt like a more one-on-one, because even though all the boss fights are one-on-one, this felt like a more level boss fight. You know, 2 pinnacles of power in the series just going at it. This feels like a chase, and I don't dislike the chases. Okay, I think Unleashed had some great daytime bosses. I just prefer, you know, the rival battle style, so, you know, the way 06 handled it, the way Adventure 2 handled it, the way Heroes handled it, with the one-on-one, or in the case of Heroes, the team v team bosses. And you could argue that, say, Shadow vs. Mephiles was a rival fight, because it was just a one-on-one fight, until Omega showed up, mind you. And that was pretty cool. And as you can see on the bottom, you have my direct translation. I should note that Misamono has a double meaning. It could mean fake or it can mean imposter. I'm using fake here because that's what the English version has always used, even back then, so I have no intention on saying that I'm the superior version. I'm just trying to make it as close to the Japanese while still retaining a lot of the English quirks. Because I think that the Sonic games, the translations could be better, and I know what you guys are going to say. Miguel, this game was written in English first. I don't care. I've usually held the belief that the Japanese scripts tend to be superior because they're not dumbed down for the Western audience. In fact, if you look at the 06 script, or even just the Sonic Frontiers script in Japanese, Sage's character motivation is completely different compared to her English motivation, and Sonic's way of behaving is also very different. Or also the fact that in the English script, Amy doesn't really talk about her love for Sonic, but in the Japanese script, she definitely does. So there's positives and negatives. Okay, so the negative is you have to learn a whole other language, or wait for a fan to translate it, like with better SADX. But that's to be expected, right? If you put in the effort, even if it's a lot of effort, you're gonna be rewarded. If you don't, then you're gonna have to wait. That's just the way life works. The Metal Overlord fight is a cool fight. I'm gonna be honest, I think that the Heroes fight is more climactic. I don't know about the control though, because I think that it's not fair to compare it, because in the Heroes fight you were in the air and you were on ground, here we're in the water, so it's not really a equivalent control. I must say, graphically, this looks really cool. And assuming that Project 2026 is the Heroes remake, I'd be very excited. I just really hope they don't redub anything. Just remaster the audio of Heroes. Just do that. And I promise you it will be better. I genuinely believe that. Just doing the other dialogue won't be as good. Oh, if you see any errors with my translation, feel free, and I'm being here, feel free to comment it, explain to me why it's wrong, and then I will correct it and re-upload it. Because I want this to be true, accurate translation, and not, me messing up, which changes the meaning. Now, I'm genuinely willing to believe that part of why Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush hasn't been hitting it with me is because I think Entame is localizing a bit too much, No disrespect to Entame, okay? I do like the subtitles, okay? I'm grateful for the subtitling, but I think that for Go Rush there might be a bit too much localization and not enough translation going on. But that's just the way I see it. Once we use the Multi-Chaos Spear on Metal Overlord, we'll be able to start launching these attacks on him. What you're supposed to do is Chaos Control and use that to hit all of the buildings at the same time, and that'll knock it. But if you don't do that, which is something that I didn't do, because remember, you're watching my first playthrough, I'm playing this completely blind, albeit now that I'm commentating, I've already played through it. And so I'm not playing like a pro, I'm playing like a pretty average person. Well, maybe not average, considering I beat Frontiers on extreme difficulty. And also, I want to apologize for how badly I played during the stream. Because the game controlled differently, and it'd been a hot minute since I'd actually played a video game that wasn't a JRPG, I wasn't used to the control, but now I am. So, it's okay now. So you'll notice a huge jump in my play, in terms of the skill, compared to the stream. And also, commentating live while playing a high-speed game, I forgot how difficult it was. If you look back at my Frontier streams, I was very quiet for a lot of it, mostly because I was so focused. But because I had a co-commentator, it wasn't as noticeable. Although I do want to issue my apologies for the second live stream, which is the Desert Island, the Ares Island, because holy crap, I was so tired when recording that, when streaming that. I was also sick, and so was my commentator. And that's just, the tragedy of it all. Very well. That is the video. Have a nice day.